Have you seen the world? Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I'm about to read this. This came out. What happened here? Kali Kamasa. Oh yeah, I remember this version. Yeah. Nasini. Kali Masa Nasini. Number 42. Oh, 222 in the building, and we have another 4 there. Samavari. All right, I'm going to read those. That is where she at. But like, let's take a moment here, right? She got her bow and her arrow. She's making sure she hit the mark. Did not start off earlier with this is a whole complete protection mudra. Talk to the hand because the face don't understand, like the brother said. Definitely saying talk to the hand. Protection. Boundaries. Right? The skulls off with their heads. She's wearing her crown. She's in her blue skin, but there's also like the human skin over here. To a certain angle, to a certain degree, is not as blue. There's the sun. There's a little bit of darkness. With the other one, she's knowing her stance. So it's like also like masculine and muscle energy there. So like the masculine knowing when to charge with the feminine, you know, woman scorn. 1, 2, 3. This also reminds me of toroidal field, yes, but the Vesica, I think it's called. Hold on 1 second. Excuse you, ma'am. Ma'am. Blue? She said hygiene care, but like it was getting a little bit like she's really just cleaning herself because she's not there no more. She's like literally cleaning her thigh now. But is it the Vesica? I'm gonna read. She's like, I had a little itch there. Yeah, but then you went a little bit lower. And then you stood there a little bit too much. And then now you gone. Like, all right, so this one. Hello, Ada. Ada is the divine feminine energies too. So there's Ada, and Palingala. Why can't I speak? Pingala. Thank you. Ada and Pingala, and then Shashuma. So Ada's coming in as we are getting into the divine feminine. And Spirit, I guess, wants me to read this one first because that's the page that I actually went on. And so this is the master number 22 and the build, right? So possibly some information that we need to know about what we are going to build within ourselves, build to destroy, foundation, but also build with community, since we was talking about community. Definitely in connection with mother. There's also her ajna is open here, right? So really seeing beyond the veil. Excuse me. I just noticed she has a key on her nose ring. And her eyes are on fire. Her wings are activated. This also feels like high priestess energy, like goddess energy, high priestess energy, mother energy. Looks like a lot of fire and things behind it in the background, like through the purifying flames. All right, let me read. Beloved mother who dwells in the smoke, who proceeds over the most difficult transitions. She who knows that certain endings are unavoidable. There are necessary predecessors to radical reinvention. Her presence brings the message that though disappointment, defeat, or loss, and the negative repercussions of such experiences may cause suffering for a time, they will not limit your future happiness. I'm going to pause real quick. Didn't I say earlier about making those temporary sacrifices, or sacrificing those temporary things that's giving you like that dopamine hit that's no longer serving your highest good, in order for you to reach like long-term generational like stability, happiness, wealth, etc. Future happiness, although happiness is always here and now. Like, let's not get caught up on like future stuff also, right? Because like that can cause anxiety if you're always thinking about the future. However, there is an important need to, like they said, keep your eye focused at the end, because the future has already been done. It's already been succeeded. You've already succeeded there, but you got to take the steps. And so when you get too caught up in the spiritual of now, you lose yourself in the physical of taking the steps you need for your future. And then you end up in a fucking cycle. So like you got to kind of, there's a reason why. Anyways, let's honor that the message is coming through with future, okay? They are hello, leather flower. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to just disregard your beautiful flower and your greetings. They are a means for openings as yet unrecognized pathways for fulfillment. Your trust must be unconditional at this time, and later you shall see that everything has worked out for the absolute best. Did I not fucking tell y'all about trusting yourself? All right, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'm gonna keep reading. All right. The seventh of the Mahavidya's wisdom goddesses is Dhammavari. She is the crone goddess, and uniquely in the Hindu context from which she arises, also a widow. Her name means she who is made of smoke, and as the expression goes, where there is smoke, there's fire. Dhammavari is also associated with the profound suffering. Just as smoke is the polluting and concealing manifestation of fire, it can be hard to believe there is any divine blessings hidden or otherwise. When we are in the agonies of intense suffering, I was talking about that agonizing crying earlier. There was a reason why that came out. In honoring Dhammavari, we acknowledge that suffering is part of life and can develop compassion. Our capacity for kindness is often in direct proportion to the suffering we have. Gotta turn the page. Experienced and processed. as it can grow empathy and wisdom in the soul. Some continue to create pain for themselves and others alleviate suffering in the world through what they have learned. The difference comes through the willingness to face and process pain. Dhammavari can help us find the courage to be real about our suffering, neither becoming lost in it nor avoiding it, but rather to go through it and process it. Dhammavari is often associated with the most painful aspects of human existence: agonizing disease, thirst, poverty, hunger, death, and ugliness on all levels. And all of those things is that you could see that in Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, for sure. This may cause some to fear her and try to push her away. Yet when we are suffering greatly, we can know that she is with us. With her black smoky skin, she becomes the blackened Madonna, the beloved mother, who does not watch our suffering from some remote place in blissful detachments, but is suffering along with us. Our cries resonate in her heart. In our emotional anguish, she is our sacred companion, and her presence can help us bear witness with honesty and courage. Oh, Lord, I've been channeling this the whole time. Y'all gonna give me an agonizing fucking... No, I'm just playing. I love y'all. Hello, Iron. And amazing by design. Hello, welcome. Healing begins with an acknowledgement of suffering. You cannot resolve an issue if you deny it exists. Bearing honest witness is the only way for change to begin. When Dhammavari arises in a reading, there's an opportunity to end a profound and difficult struggle, perhaps one that is obscured and difficult to articulate and acknowledge. Such truth speaking to yourself happens when you can admit it. This is not good for me, or I am not yet sure what or how, but something needs to stop. Dhammavari is sometimes depicted with two crows attempting to pull a cart they cannot move. At other times, her cart is without means of movement at all. She brings the message that the path you are on cannot take you any further. This doesn't mean that life is over, but rather that life as you know it has yet to come to an end. This is an inception of a new cycle. To be ready for it, as we know it from Kali's mysteries, we must grieve and release what has been. In the societal context from which Dhammavari emerges, widows are at the edges of acceptable social status. In this way, Dhammavari is a goddess for those who have been shunned, criticized, or denounced. Those forced out of social status or positions through circumstances that are not necessarily of their own choosing. When external events seem to be forcing you into a certain direction, feelings of vulnerability can arise. But then, so can a sense of being deeply guided by the universe. Dhammavari's presence signifies a time when something you once counted on has failed you in some way. Through this process, opportunities open that would not have been otherwise available to you. Dhammavari is the a hairbringer of endings and loss, but also of radical trust and secret blessings that are revealed later, and most often unexpectedly. Something avoided at all costs. Something avoided at all costs happens anyway, and we end up being grateful for it because it frees us. New horizons open up. Everything changes. It wasn't easy. It took courage. It hurts a lot. We had to grow, but she was there with us, letting us know this feels terrible, but something good is going to come from it. The pain will end. You are going to be more than just okay. You are going to thrive. Saying the following prayer. Ma Damavari, I honor your powerful presence and secret blessings that lead to spiritual liberation. I gracefully receive your powers of protection, warding off negativity and defending me from enemies known and unknown, within and without. You acknowledge my suffering and the suffering of all beings so that healing and awakening can truly occur. You show us when and how to lean into the mysterious workings of the universe. You gift me freedom and entry into new worlds. The prayer of our dark mother's gracious mind rises upon your smoky essence. May blessings and healings manifest for the spiritual benefits of all being. Jama, Jama, Jama. Take a moment here to acknowledge where you are suffering right now. It may be pain in your life, pain you sense in others or the world. That acknowledgement can become the ending of a pathway that cannot lead you anywhere worth going. You don't have to know how to start a new path. The Divine Mother knows. As you honestly and courageously bear witness, you can speak your declaration. Divine Mother, healing, change, and compassionate awakening is needed here. Complete your practice with her mantra sequence. Om Dum 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 Avati Swaha Jama Kali Kajajama. Om Dum 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 Avati Swaha Jama Kali Jajama. Om Dum 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 Avati Swaha Jama Kali Jajama. Bow your hands in prayer. You have now completed your sacred ritual. There was a reason why I had to read that one first. I'm not going to read the whole thing on the other one. I don't think so. But I'm going to read the first precursor of it. I don't really feel like there's anything I have to dive deeper in explaining, because that just pretty much summed up everything that I fucking was saying, like from the beginning of this live to like now. Excuse me. Give me one moment. All right. Kali Kalmasa Nasini. She devours the darkness with her endless hunger for light, peace, and redemption. She reaches the deepest places, the darkest spaces, relentless in her pursuit of the lost and despairing. No soul shall ever be forgotten, abandoned, or betrayed by her. Those that believe in their own guilt, their sin, their shame, evoke her mighty tenderness as she feasts upon the darkness that threatens to consume them, alleviating the weight of their suffering, allowing their hearts to become light and free. So I am going to read a little bit more. The name Kali Kamasa Nasini translates as she who consumes sin. Didn't I say about sin hitting the mark? She destroys ill intent. She eradicates mistakes. Here is Kali as the supreme divine weapon. She is the archer and the arrow. She is the divine mind unleashed, so it shall razz anything built on a negative foundation, and who vanquishes all evil. Hers is the power of Pusha Vastra. I'm saying that wrong. This is a Sanskrit word which refers to the ultimate spiritual weapon. It has the capacity to neutralize every other weapon in the universe. The divine weapon can be unleashed in numerous ways, whether its power is delivered by the arrow or sword, or a release of a thought, glance, or sound from the divine mind. Its action is unquivocable and swift. In the blink of an eye, something once considered as solid as a rock is reduced to nothing. The manifestations of this power is so great that we must take a pause to consider our motivations, to have kindness and detachment when connecting with this form of Kalima, or indeed any form of hers. Fear can make our intentions and actions unnecessarily aggressive. Better to come to Kali from a place of a gentle heart and unwavering firmness of sanctuary in her wisdom. Better to recognize that her wisdom, rather than our own point of view, can accomplish the best outcome for all things, but for all beings. Better to trust in her divine justice and mercy than your concerns about whether you or another shall be held karmatically accountable for your actions. You can release all such concerns and simply trust in her. This will bring peace to your mind and allow you to let go of the past, your mistakes, and the errors of others without being harmed. You will learn, but you will not suffer. This brings spiritual benefits to all beings. There is a commonly held view that the more powerful you become, the more aggressive or forceful you must be. The Divine Mother offers us a different perspective. You can be simultaneously fierce towards ego and kind towards the heart. With true power comes wisdom, and wisdom knows when to be gentle and when to obtain ever greater outcomes through tenderness rather than force. Sometimes a strong and unwavering approach, even sacred rage, may be necessary to accomplish a task, but more often than not, there will be another way. Kali Kamasala Nasini comes to us when we need to know we have so much divine support for our purpose that we can afford to handle what needs to happen with some care. We don't need to approach every conflict with all guns firing. Although the power will rise up to meet the need, we can give some breathing space for that to instinctively happen, and only to the extent necessary. The divine knows how to accomplish things in the best way. If we strengthen our inner connection to the divine wisdom, we will spontaneously know how to proceed. The oracle guides you to be present and do only what feels correct in each moment, rather than to react or decide what you think your behavior should be. You will sense the best way to proceed as you stay true to your intuition and instincts. The Divine Mother is guiding you, and you do not need to fear. There is also the expression, what is done is done. In this admonition, as the consumer of sin, Kali Masa Nasini devours past error. This concept of sin is not intended to elect guilt or shame on our part, but to give us a sense that we can become free from what has been, to learn from it, yes. To allow it to continue to define us and direct the course of our lives? Hell no. If we feel that what has been done is too great to deserve such compassion, remember that the Divine Mother's blessings are only able to bring benefit to all beings. It is the human perspective that sees things in terms of winning at another's expense. In the higher, truer view, that is simply not possible. True benefit brings spiritual benefit to all beings. What is truly right in spirit, rather than a matter of one person's opinion versus another's, is ultimately best for you, best for all. When this oracle arises, it is a call to give up the past and your stories about it, especially those that tether you to something you have long since overgrown. Let yourself off the hook. Trust that you have been beaten down. You will rise with divine grace to believe in yourself and your path, and to know that ultimately your divine destiny can never be overcome. I'm going to say the prayer, and then I'm going to kind of circle back because we're going to get to a closing. So, say this prayer. This is the invocation ritual. Kali Ka Kali Masa Nasini, devour the sins that fuel negativities. Protect me from the utterance and the intentions not in harmony with your divine wisdom and loving plan. I seek refuge in your supreme power and become free from regret and free from fear. I have learned, and now I let it go. May nothing stand between us. May our hearts be as one. You are beyond speed. You are immediacy. You are the perfect temporary of power and mercy. You destroy and protect. I trust in your grace. Ma Kali. For the spiritual benefits of all beings. Jama Kali Jama. Place your hands in prayer at your heart. Feel and sense Kali's wild ferocity and the sense of peace and security you will find in leaning into her still center. Allow yourself to feel her wildness and power in your soul, and her grace and wisdom of restraint too. You do not direct this. You surrender into her with complete trust. Feel the alignments and closeness between your hearts. And with that, you have completed your ritual. Yo. Wholeness, wholeness, wholeness. The grace of knowing when to not have somebody in your kidney so that you don't get those kidney stones, but you let them operate in the space of where they need to operate in life. Trusting, being in surrenderance of the divine, like literally full circle of everything that I was channeling. Like, you would think I wrote this book myself. Earlier, for those of you who came in late, I randomly came out and her card, Kali's card, this is Kali. This is in a completely different deck. When Mother wants to come through, Mother is going to come through. When the messages need to come out for you to hear them, they're going to come out for you to hear them. I'm probably still going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to definitely allow myself to sit with that because I know earlier in the day I'm like super busy. So if I do it in the evening, excuse me. I am getting ready to close this space. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have tapped in, who had came in. It's such an honor and a privilege to hold space and share space with each and every one of you. I affirm that whatever messages were for you to receive, that you are able to digest it and process it with great divine clarity and know how to move with it in divine timing for your highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of all involved. There were so many messages that came through. I don't even know how many hours I've been on this live, but I just had to honor coming on live and going through the waves of ascension and descension and all the different phases and all the different angles that had to be spoken about on this live. And I'm not going to save the entirety of this live, but what I am going to do is I might, but if I do, I'll probably put the replay on the YouTube, if I could fucking speak. Yeah, I'm gonna sit with it because there were certain parts that definitely was just like me being silly and like me sharing a lot. Love the live. Thank you. It was a lot of information. Do y'all have any questions before I let y'all go? Essentially, I wanted this to be a space where y'all can come and join me on live as well. If y'all had any questions or wanted to discuss anything that was coming through, I am open to doing that still if anybody else wants to come on. If not, then I am going to close this space. And it doesn't let me know how many people are still in here because they like, you know, did a thing with allowing my life to be shared because there was just too much truth in the space. But at the same time, those that were divinely aligned to receive those messages were the ones that came and stood from beginning to end, or just even received whatever parts of the message that they needed to receive. And for that, I am grateful and thankful, and I honor the divine sacredness of the purpose of these messages being released to who they are for. And I honor the rites of passage in that. I think my Saturn is Capricorn. Mine's is in Capricorn too. What house is it in? What year were you born? You don't gotta give me the year that you was born. What house was it in? Excuse me. Essentially, like I was saying, like this is gonna feel like a Saturn return to everyone because of how it's activating the collective. However, it's going to activate with everyone differently because of their placements. So anyone with Pisces and Leo, because it's in the 5th house, like that in itself is very activating in itself. Yeah, so Saturn in Leo. Is your Saturn in Leo? Saturn is in the 5th house, which is natural ruler of Leo. However, the rising, let me see the rising. I didn't even see that. Hopefully my phone didn't die. All right. So the 5th house is ruling Pisces is ruling the 5th house right now, and so it's gonna have both Piscean and Leo energy, which makes sense. And then Scorpio rising. Yeah. Oof. The good thing is that Pluto moves from the 3rd house to the 4th house. So the school system and the children are going to get that alleviation. It's going to be at 1 degree though in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is going to be in the 4th house. And so the 4th house is the mother, it's parents, and it's the home. Right? And so it's technology, it's your plasma, it's you know, your internal technology, the external technology, and how it's going to process in the home, and the home of this home and the home around. But Saturn in Pisces in the 5th house is just going to amplify. It's already been in the 5th house, so it's just going to amplify it some more. With Capricorn, it's going to be a lot stronger. We definitely have a higher standard of how we have to behave, in a sense, or like not have to behave, but how we carry ourselves is held to a higher standard. So with great power comes great responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And in that, how we will utilize this energy or surrender to it is really going to be make a big difference on the collective as well. But also anyone with Saturn and Pisces, and anyone that is a Pisces or Pisces rising specifically, they're going to feel it in their body. Like, what's your rising sign? Those of any Pisces, those Leos also are going to feel it like in their relationships, there's going to be major changes in the relationships. That's how Saturn in the 5th house is going to be. And I mentioned that earlier. That's why I mentioned about, I know I started off with marriage, and I said I'm only talking about marriage because Saturn rules contracts. But in the 5th house, that's not necessarily a house of marriage, but it is a house of relationships. It could be flings, it could be short-term relationships. This could also be, maybe some relationships coming to an end, or people losing partners and becoming widows. This could also be, which is like the separation that I was talking about, or like divorces or endings to relationships. This could also be relationships going to the next level, right? Maybe going from not really being in a commitment, being a fling thing, or that type of thing, to getting into a space of being in a committed relationship. Welcome back, sister. Love you. So that's another way that it can operate. It's also children. So this could be a lot of, and especially with the vertex in Cancer, I can see a lot of people, because of things slowing down, I can see a lot of people getting pregnant and having very, very, very spiritual children, babies coming through. So because it is also the house of children, so there could be a lot of inner child healing, especially when it comes down to your parents, right? When it comes down to your parents, when it comes down to the home. Because like I said, with Pluto going into the 4th house, but and being at 1 degree, right? It's like so early in, but for sure, that can be pregnancy. That could also be like miscarriages, or people losing their children as well. And I know that's a tough decision, like a tough conversation to have. This could also be that, like, certain children, there's going to be an exposure of things that happen to children, of something that was hidden in the dark coming more into light, because of the unveiling of that, like I said. So yeah, there was a lot that was said in regards to like the 5th house, and how it's this could also be maybe more children getting more diagnoses with disabilities, right? Or getting like a second opinion and finding out that they were misdiagnosed in that way. Essentially, this is going to be like more parents wanting to take their time. This could also be, increase of people getting institutionalized, or it could even be the opposite. So it's really interesting, because that both those cards came out, because again, I feel like I'm speaking to 2 different collectives of people, and it really depends as to where you are in your journey as to how it's going to operate for you. If you're operating from a space of being honest with yourself and doing the shadow work and everything, there's going to be a lot more alleviation. There's going to 444s joined. I'm just, this could be miscarriages. This can be that there's more information that comes out due to certain medicines that was causing fertility issues to come up to the surface. That type of information can come up. What's up, hype? Essentially this is, and again, it goes back to what has been your agreements to. This could be people taking the time to emancipate themselves, like I mentioned, emancipating themselves from, certain systems in that. Claiming that the maturity, right? This is emotional maturity. Like literally, like where you were being emotionally dyslexic, or not taking responsibility, like you're going to be gaining that emotional and maturity, and emotional and spiritual maturity to essentially move forward into certain spaces. It doesn't mean that you can't have fun and that you can't be childlike, but it means that you have a responsibility for your energy. You know what I'm saying? So reaping what you sow, essentially. So that was the message. Whew. Any other questions? Welcome back, Sacred Sounds. Mr. Morgan, hello. Ay, Dios santo. Listen, I don't know who Mr. Morgan is, but you probably gotta, I was gonna say catch the replay. Look at they laughing because they already know who. I be talking silly sometimes, but the whole thing been cool, calm, collected the whole time, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Morgan, you trying to bring people to the morgue? I'm just saying. I can be something like a doula, a death doula. So, I mean, if there's some consecrations or some rites of passages, what we put into rest, what are we putting to rest? Sorry, I got distracted. Just coming back in to send you love, sis, and thank you, love you, love you. No, I love you. Thank you. Hey, hey. Any other questions? Sandra, I love you. If not, I'm gonna end this live. I'm game. I'm game to come back live, and just kick it with some of y'all if y'all just want to kick it. But I have to go to a funeral tomorrow. That makes sense too, with Saturn in retrograde going through. Saturn on a Saturday. May those rites of passage bring ascension for the highest and greatest good of all involved, and that the soul who is now transitioned allows themselves to go through their sacred divine rites into the wholeness of their divinity, of the highest and greatest divinity of all source, of all beings. The beautiful part about someone's consciousness when they transition, not every soul stays stuck in their human consciousness. A lot of them get liberated and free, and essentially not keeping them earthbound, but allowing the release, allowing and celebrating their life, and honoring them for everything that they have did during their journey, for the highest and greatest good, for whatever it is they have achieved. That is in honor of their divinity and sacredness. And even those that we may not comprehend as an accomplishment, maybe it was a trigger that they were abounded by to stimulate in us so that we can reach some ascensions for ourselves. Thank you, and may you be liberated and free from this matrix, free from these realms, and allow your consciousness, allow your soul, allow your being to be ascended to its purest and truest form, where it shall go, where it needs to be, where it is. A lot of souls get liberated. They don't feel stuck. Sometimes they stay closer in the earthly realm because we keep calling on them, or We don't let them rest. And there's a reason why it's like rest in peace. It's like rise in power, right? Rise in power and be liberated, be free. I allow myself to integrate with the lessons that you have taught me and the energetic signature that you have placed in this realm for me to energetically exchange with. I honor you by integrating that and living my life to the fullest in honor of our connection. And I let you go with love. I let you go with God. Let you be free. You know, letting them go, it's okay. Surrendering to the great divine to know that you are trusted and that you are protected and that you are in that space too. And I know when it's someone close to us, it's so hard. You know, I'm not going to act and pretend that it's not. You know, allow yourself to process grief naturally, however long or short it needs to be. There is no one that can tell you how long you need to grieve or how you're supposed to grieve. There's so many different ways of grieving. When I tell you I'm a doula, I'm for real. Like, there's so many ways of grieving. And sometimes it is with sacred rage. Sometimes it's with shopping. Sometimes it's with eating. Sometimes it's with not eating. Sometimes it's like hyperactive, doesn't even seem like there's any form of grief. And sometimes it comes later, years later, at a shock. Sometimes it's, you know, you feel like you cool, calm, collective, and then the anniversary of their transition comes, and that's when you grieve. Sometimes it's instantly, and it's okay. Sometimes you're grieving them before they transition, and so by the time they actually transition, you get to accept it and you let go. So it's different for everyone, and just knowing that whether you're going to the funeral for yourself or to support others, you know, maybe having that information for yourself and for others could be useful. And you know, just being honest about death and not always saying like, oh, I know how you feel, I understand. Like, no, let them have their feelings. Let them have their feelings. We don't always have to understand their feelings. We don't have to always understand their feelings. And giving people a moment of silence to pause and process that's why they say take a moment of silence. That's important to process for the nervous system, you know, for your nervous system to be in a parasympathetic way, to be at ease and calm and not of the stress. And, you know, just honoring them. Maybe if you know their favorite songs, playing their songs, sing, laugh, cry, just express, just live. The best way of that is to live. Yeah. So my condolences goes out to you and your family and the family of the transitioned. And I affirm that all things will arise and be abided by the Most High divine order, and that you will know exactly what you have to do. And if you feel like you need to reach out to me, feel free to reach out to me in the DM. And, you know, if you need that support system, someone to talk to, or just, you know, connect with in any way, shape, or form, I am here for you. Or anyone else for that matter in that space that's had to deal, that is closely connected to the person who has transitioned. Yes, one love and wholeness. Gracias, de nada. Que se vayan con Dios y que Dios te bendiga y pone la mano encima de todo el mundo. Because God is good all the time. Gratitude. Thank you for sharing that in your truth. And yes. Okay, Charlie, enjoy your poopies. I actually have to do the same because my fur baby, it was raining out here like really, really, really bad. So I'm sitting here talking about Jonesing with y'all. And thanks for the reminder, Sandra. So enjoy your walk with Charlie. I appreciate you. And I'm actually going to go walk my fur baby because it did stop raining here. So that's probably why she was looking at me earlier like, excuse you, ma'am. And I'm sitting here blah, 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 blah. All right, y'all. Yeah, have a good night. Thank you. I fit differently.